What is happening, everyone? It's GBall, and I have a new knife here to unbox for you coming in from Kansept. This is going to be a brand spanking new release for them, and it is a knife that I am really excited about. It is going to be called the Contra, and this thing looks absolutely mean, at least in my opinion. Now, if this is your first time stopping by, welcome to GBall Vision. Drop a comment below. Let me know what your carry is looking like today. So this is going to come in a wide range of different flavors. You know how Kansept does. This particular one is going to be sporting their Damascus steel, but they're doing regular blades in S90V. So you have some really cool options with this particular design. I love the beautiful modified sheep's foot, and they're using a 10CR VG10 base for their Damascus. As I've told you in the past, if you want something that has a little bit of flair and pizzazz, the Damascus blades are going to do well for that and still give you some performance. But if you're mainly looking for only performance, then of course you're going to want to go with the standard blades, which they do a lot of S35. They're doing S90V, Magna Cut. So they have a lot going on over there at Kansept and Tenable. I would say they have been absolutely killing it here over the last year or so. We have dual thumb studs and a front flipper for the deployment. And this thing is nice and snappy. Great access there to the lock bar, and that is chamfered off, so that'll be comfortable, easy to get to, and easy to disengage. As far as the sharpening choil goes, I think some people will probably have some complaints with that. You'll have to let me know your opinion down in the comments. I'm not a sharpening expert, not something I usually touch on a whole lot at least. Going to be a right-hand carry only milled tie clip, and that looks really cool. We also have a matching titanium backspacer right there. Let's go ahead and we'll get the tape measure out here and see what we're looking at for a size. So this is going to come in at like 7.9 overall. We have 3 3/8 of cutting edge, and then you could say 3.5 of total blade. For comparisons, we have the Kaiser Outposter up top, and then we have the Tenable Beaver here on the bottom. And two more, we have the Kershaw Bonneville up top, and we have the Real Steel Spectrum Premium on the bottom in VanX Super Clean. We'll grab our 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Hank here and get a look at this pocket clip. I think that's going to work really well for getting this in and out of the pocket. You have that wider base, which will help you go over the seams a lot easier, and that is going to look nice and clean in the pocket. Standard milled clip, you'll have maybe a 1/4 inch or so poking out of the pocket, which many of you know that is something I prefer there. You have a nice place to grab a hold of this thing and retrieve it out of the pocket. It is, however, going to be right-hand carry only. We'll get the arch nemesis out here, and we'll give this bad boy a weight check. Now, I like to play a little game here on the channel with the new knives that come in. I attempt to guess the weight, and I always invite you to play along. You can put your guess down in the comments, ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. And if you're enjoying this video, you like knives and gear, you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed here to the channel. I'm going to give it a go here, and I'm going to go with ounces. I'm going to say that this is going to come in the mid 3s. Feels like a 3.7, 3.7, 3.8. Let's go 3.7. Oh! Almost had it, baby. 108 grams and 3.8 ounces. You guys can give me that one. I think that was a good call. Now we'll go ahead and we'll get the calipers out here. We are zeroed off. Get some measurements on our handle and our blade. Start off with the handle thickness here. That is going to come in at 0.43. 10.8 millimeters. We'll go over to the blade stock thickness. We got 2.96 millimeters and 116 thousandths for the blade stock thickness. And that is a nice tall blade. We'll get a BTE measurement. And it being a nice tall blade gives it room to come down nice and thin. And I'm actually a little high on that particular grab, and we're at 14 thousandths right there. Let's get another spot here and see if we can hone in right behind that edge. Could go a little bit more. It's saying 14 there as well. So regardless, that makes a nice thin BTE right there. Very thin. Typically we see 22 to 24 thousandths. That's very standard. When you're getting down in this territory, that is pretty thin. We'll use our catalog paper here to get an edge check on this thing. It's going to be a great utility blade shape for EDC work. You'll be able to climb up right behind that edge if you need to. Let's go ahead and see what this is hitting for. It's one thing Kansept and Tenable, their sister company, have been nailing all year is their edges. I would say a lot of companies have gotten better with their edges. Of course, there's going to be, some that slip through the cracks, but I'd say for the most part, companies are starting to get a lot of this stuff dialed in. Yeah, that feels good. No snags. No snaggies. Feels good. Very good. And like I said, you'll have your choice as far as blades go. They're doing an S90V on several of the models. And then I think they're doing at least one or two different Damascus variants. And they all look really good. Pretty subtle for all of them, actually. Even the Damascus version, which is usually one of their loudest options, pretty subtle with the bronze titanium. We'll get the off-grid driver out here and we'll get a hardware check on this fella. T8 on the pivot, T8 on the body, and we're gonna have T8 on the pocket clip screw as well. That is very nice. As far as the pivot goes, I think that's going to be free spinning, I believe. And some people, it depends on which side of the aisle you land on. It is easier to disassemble a knife that has a D-shaped pivot. But if you're someone who's more worried about fluid action, then it is said that a free spinning pivot is going to give you a better all-around action. So just kind of depends where you stand with that. Some people really want the D-shaped pivot, and then some people, they want the action. The good thing is there's plenty of options out there where you can have both. You can get both, right? That's the whole idea behind a collection. You could have some that are D-shaped, and then you can have some that are free spinning. That way you get to experience and have the best of all the worlds, right? The detent on this thing is freaking outstanding. Nice and strong. The thumb flick is beautiful on this knife right here. Reverse flick is going to be easy all day long. You have all that room to come up underneath there. We haven't really even touched on the front flipper. We'll see how that goes. You have a good distance there, but it's pretty low. And in a lot of cases, that usually isn't going to work the best, but that seems to work pretty well. The jimping is nice and fine, and it's grippy, so that is going to play a role. The detent isn't too weak, so a stronger detent helps you build up that wall before you break the blade, and that's going to give you enough to pump this thing out. That doesn't feel as low as that is. It doesn't feel awkward to deploy it. It works good, especially for the thumb rollover. Index rollover, no problem whatsoever. So I consider that to be a pretty good design right there. It just works. Typically, I like them to be, flush with the top of the frame or even a little higher. But in the case of this one, that's kind of going against everything I usually want to see. That's going to work. So can't say Can't say too much about that. Good to go. Love the blade shape. You got this harpoon sheep's foot. I think these are going to be a pretty big hit. I know I was really excited to see this knife right here. It's a good size, not too small. You know, it's not too big. It's I think it's going to be in the sweet spot for a lot of people. The last thing we have to do here is introduce this to the spine whacker. That way we can get the final word in. Perfectly centered up out of the box and has stayed that way. As far as our lockup goes, we are looking at about 40%, I would say, which is a good place to be. Let's go ahead and we'll give this a light tap to get us going. That puts a lot of stress on that lock, even that lighter tap. We have seen some knives just from that fail completely, which is unacceptable. Give it a nice light tap out there in the middle. And another good one there. And that right there is plenty. It feels good and it sounds good. Very good. We'll give it a couple more here. Just because we know Kansept, and I've told them this in the past, whatever they're doing QC-wise, to continue that trend, because they have had solid edges, solid locks, out of the box all year long. It's been pretty impressive to see. I don't know if they got a new system in there, if they got new people in there, or what's going on, but whatever they're doing, they need to keep it up. You can just tell a tremendous change from about a year and a half ago up until now, right about when Tenable, you know, came out as the more budget-oriented company for them. Still a Kansept, but just under a different name. And they have just been, and they were really good. As I've said before, don't get my words twisted. They were great before. And they've always been willing to do stuff out of the norm, which is something I appreciate when you are in a world where things can, you know, kind of blend together a lot or, you know, look similar. So I like the fact that they're willing to do some different things. You'll have to let me know, what do you think of the Contra here? Is this your style of design? And let me know what you think. Damascus, S90V, what color handle? They got purple, bronze, blue. I think they got a regular dark wash version. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Hit the thumbs up button for me. And if you want to see more dope daily knife and EDC content just like this, make sure you're subscribed here to the channel. I'll pop up a couple of new videos on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.